Hey, what's up guys? This is Prapreet back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about printers. I know there is a niche when it gets to photo printers, but I'm not talking about your professional photo printers or anything. I'm a professional photographer, although I don't do any professional printing by any means. So recently I kind of was introduced to your Polaroids and I never really got into Polaroids just because I have really good cameras. I have professional cameras, full frame cameras that give me the best quality out there. So when I looked at a Polaroid, it was just not doing the job for me. So because of that, I never really invested into a Polaroid. But the act of seeing your print come to real life just in the same moment, and that souvenir itself being super rewarding, that you get to take a moment and have it in paper almost on the go, which was definitely incredible. That really caught my attention towards printing, and so I've been looking for something that kind of prints good quality images, but also on the go. So today with me, I have three printers. One is smaller than your smartphone and you can carry everywhere, but that does give you smaller prints. And then going up a little bit in size, you get something like 4x6s, which obviously give you some more bigger of a print, but also not big to be, I guess, framed exactly. You'd have a very tiny frame, but if you want to frame like a collage or something, you can definitely do that with those. And it's relatively bigger images that you're printing now compared to, let's say, these. So for example, this is one picture and this is the another one. So there's some differences in it. I'm just going to talk about those printers. So the first printer I want to talk about is the Kodak Step wireless printer. Again, this is very tiny. So I actually didn't expect too much coming out of this. This is completely wireless. So you can print out, very small images, kind of like the Polaroid, except this comes out right away and you don't have to wait for the print to kind of appear on the paper. So as you print, this basically comes out and you have a very tiny print of whatever you're printing from your application on your smartphone. So a great way to print something, have a souvenir, but again, the image is tiny. And then that's the only downside that I see is that I think colors are very nice on this. I actually don't think that there's anything wrong with those colors. However, if you're printing something, I guess, more of a close-up, then it would definitely give you a better picture quality. Like this one is a bit closer and a lot more prettier. But again, it being a small image, printing out something like this is my dog. Printing out something smaller will definitely help because it's basically more close up, you get more detail, and it being a small image, a close up would be the best case scenario. But these are, again, very tiny images. I wouldn't recommend getting this because I can't really frame this. Maybe this will go in a photo album, but that's the only place it would ever go. It would never go on the wall. Again, another downside of this would be that it being so small, the battery is also very, very small, and you kind of have to go often and charge it. I'm not sure exactly how many prints it would do in one charge, but I do know it takes 5 to 10 photo print paper inside of it, so you can't even like carry too much around. Even though it's really easy to take around, you can basically put this thing in your pocket, go anywhere, take a picture, print it. That ease of mind obviously is there, and that's why this is great. But it does give you like smaller prints, so don't expect too much coming out of it. So the second printer I want to talk about is the Kodak Dock Plus 4-pass instant printer. This again is very similar approach, except you can actually like plug in your phone exactly through like a lightning port. So basically you can print out your images directly from your phone, kind of just wired connection, and you can also do wireless as well, but I find wired is just much faster in this case scenario. So this again is a little bit bigger. It actually needs a plug, so you need a power outlet as well. This is not as functional on the go like your previous example here. You would need to connect it to power, and that's kind of the downside. And also it's pretty hefty, so this is like a paper tray in the front, and then you'd get your prints coming out from the back. It's a pretty big setup, nothing that you can carry in your pocket, obviously, and take with you. It prints out bigger images, but at the same time, it can also hold a lot more paper inside of that. So, going back to this example, it's very tiny. It'll take like 5 prints. It's, again, very small, so the compatibility is another big factor winning for this one. But again, it just kind of depends where you are and how you like to use your prints. So with the Kodak Doc Plus 4 pass, the bigger print, it actually does 3 passes of colors. So it basically go 3 rounds, and it would print a picture kind of like this compared to, like this kind of image. So obviously you can see the size difference. It's a huge size difference here. Again, you can see I love my dog. But there's a huge size difference, and the quality is a lot better too. But just being 3 passes, sometimes it's not perfect compared to one pass print would be a lot more accurate because every pixel is kind of being placed into one situation. So I just think that it's a great quality print. It's really vibrant. It's really colorful. I love that about this. And I'm sure there's some settings in the other printer as well that you can tinker around a little bit, maybe add some initial vibrance to your photos, but that does add time. It's not as instant as you would like it to be, like for example your Polaroid. So the biggest downfall of this Kodak Doc Plus is that it needs to be connected to power, and unfortunately that's the worst part about this. Even though it prints relatively bigger size images, 4x6s, the bad part about this would be the fact that I need power. So for example, if I'm on a hike or if I'm on the street somewhere and I just want to do some like street photography, print out my photos right away. So this would not be a good option because first I would have to go find power, and then maybe I'll be able to print something out. But in terms of the quality of the prints, they're flawless. If you want to have this in your office, if you want to have this at your home, it's a great option. You can definitely go for that, but I would not recommend taking this on your trips. This smaller little guy would be amazing for that. Even though the prints are going to be small, you're still getting a souvenir. So again, this one wins in that. But I have something better for you guys. Hopefully that'll make all of this a little bit better. Again, it's also a little bit on the bigger side just because it prints 4x6s. And that printer is Canon Selphy CP1300. So this is the Selphy CP1300. This is by Canon, and it's very similar to the other ones. They can connect to your Bluetooth mobile device, or you can even connect to your cameras, for example, for all the photographers out there. This again does have a paper tray, so it does take a second to put on and kind of work, even though it's not hard to do at all. But it just takes the extra step to put in the paper, but you get 4x6 papers, and you can basically get your prints out relatively quickly as well. But this again does 3 rounds, so it go back and forth. So it just does that pass 3 times, and color accuracy is probably just as close to the other one that I mentioned before. One thing I do have to mention is that it's a little bit bigger. The body at least is a little bit bigger. So if I compare both of these two, right, this one is slightly larger. It's not a huge deal, but something if you want to carry it around. But the best part about this printer, why I even mention it, is because it actually has a compartment you can add a battery to. And this is the best part about it, because if you're traveling with this, if you're going to a remote location, or if you're on the streets and you want to make a print real quick, you will definitely need an external battery. And most likely you're not going to be carrying a big power bank with you to plug into the AC/DC adapter, for example. You'll probably need some sort of battery, and this printer actually comes with a slot where you can insert a battery, and the batteries are relatively cheap as well, $20 to $30. You can buy a battery with a charger, and you can buy multiple batteries to carry around with you if your day is going to be long like that. So great example is again, it doesn't take the wired connection, but it does have a spot for example, a SD card, or even like a wired connection. You can connect it through USB. So this is probably my favorite printer so far over this Kodak dock printer. Even though it has really great features, I think the only thing stopping me from choosing this over the other one would be the fact that I need to plug this in, and this can only be used with power. Otherwise, the Selphy is a little bit bigger. I think the quality is almost there. There's no big advantage over the Kodak one. I would just prefer having a battery. So for example, on a trip or anywhere else, I don't have to ever worry about plugging it in. If my battery's charged and good to go. So yeah, I think the print quality again is basically there. This is a print quality from the Selphy CP1300. It's a fairly good print. I mean, I can see a lot of the details as close as I go, and just like any other picture, more vibrance you add into it, more saturation, more clarity you add to an image, your prints are just going to be that much better. So I don't think that there's a clear winner here, but for compatibility, this is a great printer, even though it prints out very small images. But still, if you're that kind of person who's, for example, if you're on a hike and you're on top of a mountain and you want to print something that you can look at, that not just you took the picture there, but you also printed it there, and you can kind of see yourself in real life in a physical aspect, not just on your phone, this would be the best bet. But for example, if you're just on a road trip somewhere and you want to print out something real quick, like a 4x6 that you can also go home and put it in a collage, put it in some sort of frame, hang it up on your wall, this is a good option. 4x6 is actually pretty big of an image, so I definitely love this over the smaller prints. For example, just look at the size difference, right? It's a huge size difference when it comes to the prints. Like, it's a no-brainer. I would want the bigger picture, but at the same time, the reason I didn't go for the big photo printers, for example, like like posters or anything else, is because mainly because I did not think that I was going to have enough wall room to print those pictures and put anywhere up. Maybe I put print 5 to 10 maximum, and then everything else afterwards would not go on my walls because I only have so many walls in my house or anywhere else, right? So I can always get those printed elsewhere. I like the nostalgia of a paper print over digital, and it's something that every photographer, or even if you're just somebody that likes to travel, that somebody that likes to try new things, try new adventures with your partner or your dog or your family, this definitely adds the value to that, because hey, I can touch it, I can feel it, and I can also hang it up on a wall. So those things are invaluable when it comes to using it on a digital space. Of course, we have our phones, of course we have TVs and all those conveniences, but having a paper print just gives you a different type of a memory, if that makes any sense. But that's all I had for today. I'm not an expert on any of these printers or in photo printing by any means, but as somebody who likes to have a photo print in front of me, I thought that the Canon Selphy CP1300 was worth sharing, because it took me a while. It took me, a lot of tries to buy different printers and figure out which ones are the best. So if you guys like this video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.